Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, and welcome once again to the Self-Improvement Basis for Community Development Talk Show. I'm your weekly host, Brother James Muhammad, and I'm honored to have on the show this afternoon my friend, my brother in the mission of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and his representative to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Brother Andre have a special gift for us today.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me again.
Now, brother,
it's been a while.
I heard we have something special coming to the Shelby County area.
Yes.
A new radio station. Or a new radio program.
There you go.
First of all, what is the inspiration behind starting the program Save Ourselves?
Okay. First, let me Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, or God the Beneficent, the Merciful. Thank you, brother, for allowing us your platform once again. And you've been around here for a while. You've been successful and you're moving forward. And so thank you for allowing us to come on.
Sir.
The inspiration, brother, really has to do with the fact that for quite some time we've been desirous of having a radio program here in the city of Memphis. And I would dare say around the country, other study groups and mosques have aspired to have a radio program for the purpose of amplifying our message and getting our message to a broader audience beyond the quote-unquote pulpit or rostrum in the mosque. So that's been primarily the inspiration, to reach out into the community, to hopefully develop alliances across religious lines and nurture those relationships to help benefit us all as a community.
Okay,
so
now,
that's the primary.
For those who are just now tuning into the Self-Improvement Talk Show, I'm sitting here with my brother Andre Muhammad, and we go way back in the mission.
We go way back, man.
Brother,
before the mission.
Before the mission, exactly.
Yes, sir.
He was inspired to start a radio station, but you name it Save Ourselves.
Yes, sir.
What is the inspiration behind that title?
Well, Saving Ourselves, actually, as we were discussing it, myself and Brother Derek, Brother Hoyle Muhammad and others, Brother Rodney A., some of my colleagues in the ministry here in Memphis, all of us, we are helpers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his Mid-South representative, Student Minister Anthony Muhammad. And going back to that inspiration thing, it was also to get a platform to get our brother and friend, Student Minister Anthony Muhammad, an avenue by which he can be launched out and have a more prominent footprint in the community as the Mid-South representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But the inspiration behind Saving Ourselves, as we were discussing establishing this radio program, and we were offered some airtime by the owner of the station or the manager of the station, we were on the phone with Student Captain Anthony Muhammad, and we were tossing around what we're going to call it, and he said, well, we can call it Saving Our Seeds, Saving Ourselves. And I was like, bang, that fits. Because Saving Ourselves, when I heard him say it, my mind went to scripture and some sayings amongst our Christian brothers and sisters. God help those who help themselves. Suggesting that, or saying and teaching that the prerequisite for getting God's help is you must be first willing to help yourself.
That's right.
And of course, as Muslims, we know a hadith that says Allah does not change the condition of a people until the people change their own condition. So both are congruent. The help of God only comes when those who need help are willing to help themselves. And of course, it's in line with our study class. Self-improvement is the basis for community development. So we must be willing to take a step towards God before God will take steps towards us. So the name suggests that we must be willing to make an attempt to do something for ourselves in the way of improving our life outcomes, improving the condition of our communities, curtailing and fighting against the vices and the elements in the community, the crime, the violence, the drug addiction, the scourge of ignorance. So that's really the inspiration.
Okay, now when you look at the media, particularly social media, things that you see on TV, reality shows, why do you think it's so important to have a radio show that focus on saving a particular people, or is it more universal? What type of audience are you targeting also?
Well, it's universal. It's geared towards our people, but the message you will find, and our people will find, and people in general will find when they hear what we have to say, all can find a place in the message. The message will resonate across racial lines, across religious lines. For far too long, those who have been our critics, our detractors even, and we embrace them. We have had unfettered access, or unchallenged access, I should say, to critiquing us to no response. So now is the time for the public, and particularly here in Memphis and the Mid-South, to hear our side. They have not heard from us, at least via radio. And if they don't come to the mosque, if they don't log on to YouTube and social media and search Minister Farrakhan and listen at him at length, then they will not hear the other side of the coin, if you will.
That's right.
So our radio program, our desire in part is to allow people to hear directly from us, and to hear directly from the Mid-South representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Student Minister Anthony Muhammad.
Brothers and sisters, if you're now just tuning in to the Self-Improvement Basis for Community Development Talk Show, I am your weekly host, Brother James Muhammad, and I have my friend and my brother in the mission, Brother Andre Muhammad. We're discussing a new radio show. It's going to be aired on what time and what particular station, and what is the area will the radio station coverage be?
We're going to be on AM 1600 on your radio dial, WMQM. The radius is a minimum of 100-mile radius.
Okay.
So that's pretty broad. I think it's a 50,000 watt station, talking to those who work there and the station owners. Let's see, what else? It was something on my mind that I was going to state specifically, but as soon as I paused, it left. Maybe it'll come back. But we're going to be on AM 1600. We're going to be, the time. We're going to be on Thursdays and Friday evenings from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
That's our time slot.
All right. Now, when you think about a radio show, most people are tuned into YouTube and social media. Will the radio show also be aired live on social media also?
Yes, we want to go. We will be going Facebook Live. People can download. There are a lot of apps out there, and the smartphone, if properly used, can be a very, very beneficial piece of equipment. And the TuneIn, there's an app out there called TuneIn Radio. You can download that app to your smartphone, and once you open the application, you can go in the search field and type in AM 1600 Memphis, and the logo for WMQM should populate on the phone, and you just click on that logo, and you'll hear us live. So even if you're not at your radio, most of us got our smartphone on us at all times.
That's right.
So if you want to hear from us, if you want to hear our radio program, starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m., God willing, if nothing happens, starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. and every Thursday and Friday at 3 o'clock, whip out your smartphone, make sure you have your TuneIn app downloaded on either Android or Apple, search the field for WMQM AM 1600, click on it at 3 o'clock, boom, you can hear us.
Okay, now, going back to the title of the radio program, Save Our Sales, what type of subject matter will you all be covering?
Well, to let you know, tomorrow we're going to start off with does the Nation of Islam, or is the Nation of Islam, a hate group?
Did y'all hear that now?
Because, I mean, people have been fed these preconceived notions. They've been fed a lot of false information about the Nation of Islam. In fact, the Southern Poverty Law Center has been the culprit, along with the ADL, of feeding the public these notions about the Nation of Islam, and they really haven't been challenged in the broad sense, over mass media, if you will. So we want to deal with that subject tomorrow. Is the Nation of Islam a hate group? And why are we being labeled that by the Southern Poverty Law Center? It was in the wake of what happened in Charlottesville. So now the focus is on hate groups. And they want to lump the Nation of Islam into that group. Well, what are the facts? Do they have facts that bear out that we are that? And Brother Student Minister Anthony Muhammad, the Mid-South representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, has done 2 installments on that subject. is the Nation of Islam a hate group? And what we're going to do starting tomorrow, we're going to play some excerpts from what he had to say on the subject matter. And then after those 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes of excerpts from his message, is going to be definitely in context, we're going to have people call in and we're going to present the facts and really contest what the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League, B'nai B'rith, have been saying about the Nation of Islam. And you will find that we are not a hate group, as they would want to characterize us. So I don't want to give it all away right here, but we invite you to tune in tomorrow and we'll have that discussion.
Now, what's that?
And that's just one of the things we're going to talk about.
So that's 1600.
Yes, AM 1600.
And what time?
3 o'clock p.m. from 3 till 4 p.m. And just to go further on what types of subject matters we will be covering, we will be dealing with fratricidal conflict, the violence that we see in our community, the causes and some solutions to it. We're going to be dealing with how to eat to live. We want to, of course, it will be a platform and a launching pad for the Mid-South representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Student Minister Anthony Muhammad, as well as the officials of our mosque. We want people to know about our men's class, what we do in our men's classes, what we do in our women's classes. Of course, it will be a platform for our women and our sisters in the Nation of Islam. And we're going to deal with those issues that are in the community that all of us know are there and that are not effectively addressed or talked about. And in this hour, we need to elevate our conversations. We need to have more meaningful conversations in our community beyond sports talk. Sports talk and all of it has its place. But because of what's happening in the community, our people need to be talking about things like disaster preparedness. Our people need to be talking about how to eat to live, you know, and those types of things. So that's what we wanting to, or some of what we want to bring to the table.
It's interesting that you say that, because you and I work out in a community as a firefighter, police, and we see the sickness of our people.
Right.
Just being on the ambulance and seeing the condition of our people, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the heart failure, the domestic violence. And, you know, you get up in the morning and you listen to talk radio, morning radio. It's about sport and play, joking around. And our condition is too serious now as a people. Brothers and sisters, you're just now tuning in. Welcome to the Self-Improvement Talk Show. We are Facebook Live, so if we make any mistake, please forgive us. But we're sitting here with Brother Andre Muhammad.
We're coming off the cuff.
And we are talking about a radio program that's going to start tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
And they can call in and ask questions and comments. It will be a serious conversation, right?
Yes, it will be a serious
So we'll converse seriously on the air. What is the number for the call-in?
Well, you know, I thought about that just as you were talking about that, and I had it wrote down, but we will certainly announce it several times tomorrow when we go live.
All right.
So you may not get it here.
We'll put it on Facebook tonight, too.
Yeah, we'll put it on Facebook tonight. I have it in my phone, but I don't want to go sit here and go fishing through my phone to find the number. But I've called it before. It's the regular call-in number to the show. Those that call AM 1600 are very familiar with the number. But for those that are not, and please forgive me, audience, that's a piece of information that I failed to have ready for you, but I have some more information in terms of how to contact us and what you can do to help. But we will be announcing that number as we broadcast live.
Okay, now, also, this radio program costs money. I want to tell my audience in the self-improvement community that if you think it's a good show and it's good for our community, donate. How can they donate? How can they comment on it? Is there going to be a website?
Yes, we're going to have a Facebook presence. We're going to have a Twitter presence. All of these things are in the works. We're in our infantile stage. We're basically a clock. So we haven't really, well, we're about to come to birth tomorrow. We're going to be a little ugly as we get here. You know how babies are kind of wrinkled when they that's going to be us. But we're going to have a Facebook presence. We're going to have a Twitter presence. We have a P.O. Box number. If you would like to donate, you can send your donations to Saving Ourselves. Checks and money orders can be payable to Muhammad Mosque number 55. Just put in the little note portion of your check or money order, radio program, S.O.S radio program, And you can send that to P.O. Box 1311.
You got that ready.
Memphis, Tennessee 38101. That's P.O. Box 1311, Memphis, Tennessee 38101. We also have a subscription line. We will be offering the final call to the public. You have usually seen us, and you will continue to see us at intersections throughout Memphis and places in Arkansas. Really, you can see us anywhere in the country, clad in our suits and bow ties on the corner, politely hawking our people, asking them to purchase the Final Call newspaper. It's non-corporate driven. We are not beholden to our advertisers, so we can speak frankly, freely, and truthfully in the Final Call newspaper. But we have a phone number that you can call if you would like to have a home delivery. Just call us at area code 901-286-5034. That's 901-286-5034 to have home delivery of the Final Call. And the Final Call newspaper is only $2 per issue. It comes out weekly, and that amounts to only $8 a month. So if you would like that newspaper delivered to your doorstep by one of us brothers in the suit and bow tie, please give us a call, 901-286-5034.
Okay, my brother, this radio show can stimulate thought, bring the condition our people back into the conversation now within our community. As a whole, how can a community benefit from this saving ourselves?
Well, those who characterize us as a hate group, one, they have no proof of that, in which we will discover as we go into our broadcast tomorrow as well as Friday. They know for a fact that the work, the message, and the work of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his leadership has transformed countless lives of black men and women, even white men and women and others. Transformed countless lives of men and women for the better. They know that for a fact. Okay? So in that sense, the community will benefit. My mind goes to several people who have had good things to say about the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and his effect and the effect of his message on their lives. My mind goes to a book written by one of my colleagues, a student in the ministry, student minister Demetric Muhammad. He is a student, research minister. He's written several books. He is on the research team of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he has a book out entitled Who Do They Say I Am? And it is a collection from a broad spectrum of people, ethnicities, and different circles, all the way from entertainment to sports to government to politics, who have had good things to say about the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, his message, the Nation of Islam, its presence in the community, and its effect on the community. And these things, many people, many of our people and the broader community they simply don't know of this track record. So this radio program will serve to get the information out, because one of the most frequently asked questions that I get, and I would dare to say many of us in the Nation of Islam get from some of our people, is, what has the nation done for black folk? What has Minister Farrakhan done for black people? Well, we have that information cataloged, and we will be presenting it. And they'll say, well, why isn't it out? Why don't we know about it? Well, we publish it in the Final Call, but why isn't it still happening? One thing that we're going to learn through this radio program, the broader community, is that not only does the Nation of Islam have enemies, but there are enemies of the black community that do not have our best interest at heart. And although the work and the effect of the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, has been positive on the black community because of who he is and who we are, and because they simply don't like him, they really hate him and hate us, even though he has a positive effect and it improves the life outcomes of our people, they don't want him doing it. So for all intents and purposes, we have been under a type of economic sanctions, if you will, because in the 90s, I remember, was it in the early 80s, no, mid 80s, early 90s, many of our people don't know about the dope busters in Washington, D.C., when they cleaned up a housing project from the scourge of crime, violence, and dope trafficking. And in the wake of that, some of our brothers who were members of the Nation of Islam were blessed to get government contracts securing that particular housing development and others. Well, those who hate the nation, and they were employing black people and employing people who needed jobs, not just black people, not just Muslims. We were brought before a Senate Judiciary Committee under the leadership at that time of the Housing and Urban Development, Henry Cisneros. And in the wake of that, long story short, they tried to accuse us of some improprieties. And we ultimately lost those contracts. And the architects of those hearings and those who facilitated and inspired and, for them to bring us before the Senate Judiciary Committee was the Anti-Defamation League. So those brothers who were members of the Nation of Islam, who started security companies, who garnered contracts, who cleaned up black communities in Washington, D.C. and other areas of the country from drugs and violence, those contracts were lost. So those communities have fallen back into the ditch of despair from drugs and violence. So you mean to tell me that even though the effect of those brothers and those contracts and companies was good, what everybody seems or says that they want for the black community, people talk about, well, the drugs and the violence, what are we going to do about it? Well, here is the Nation of Islam has done something about it, and it's been effective and good. But our detractors, because they hate the Nation of Islam, we lose the contracts, our people fall back in the ditch. So that, to me, speaks volumes about how they feel about not only the Nation of Islam, but how they really feel about black people.
Community. It's interesting when you were speaking, I'm thinking, most of our people don't know that the Nation of Islam have farms.
Yeah, we have
and produce our own food.
Yeah. Yes.
And
we have Navy beans. We have a staples good program, a staple goods program. We have Navy beans, we have rice, we have brown sugar, we have fish.
Chicken, organic chicken. And
we have flour.
Coffee.
And we have coffee. And with our ABLE program, those who would like to participate, just come to Mosque number 55 and inquire. We're at 873 Vance Avenue. You can come and inquire. We believe strongly and firmly in doing something for ourselves. God doesn't help a people that's not willing to help themselves. But that's just some of what's being done in the Nation of Islam and on a local level to help our communities out of the ditch that we're in.
Brothers and sisters, if you're just now tuning in, we're excited. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. on 1600 a.m. in the Shelby County and surrounding area, because the brother did say on good days we can go beyond 100 miles.
On good days, they reach upwards of 130 miles.
130
miles. As you can tell, man, I'm so excited. I'm jumbling my words, which I normally don't do. But I am really, really, really excited about this. This excitement is the same as the excitement that I had for the prison reform ministry when I first got involved with student minister Anthony Muhammad. And that was way back in 1994 when I started. And I've been in the prison reform ministry from that time to right this moment. We are still involved in going into, as they call it, the belly of the beast, and ministering to our brothers in an incarcerated environment and encouraging them to come out from that condition and lay hold to our study course, Self-Improvement, the Basis for Community Development, and apply it in their lives, and they'll see. And they have seen, and over that time, brother, many brothers, you do it as well, and all of us in the ministry on some level are involved. And we've seen over the years many, many brothers come out of a prison and begin to rebuild their lives. They recapture their families, they recapture their children, they become productive in the community, they become gainfully employed, or they will start a business endeavor for themselves. And you see them later years later, they're doing very, very well. So that's been a blessing for me, and my excitement for the radio program is just like that. I'm just really excited about it.
Now, for those who like to know more about the Nation of Islam, where is the mosque and the study group, and how can they get in touch with Muhammad Mosque here in Memphis?
Right now, we're located at 873 Vance Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee, 381-38126. Right now, you can call us. You can use our Final Call subscription phone number to contact us. The number that we had, we're having some difficulties with that phone number right now. It's 901-523-2560. If you can't reach anyone at that number, which we're having problems right now, you can reach us at 901-286-5034. Okay. And someone will contact you and answer your inquiry.
Okay, and also, if you're living in the South Haven, Olive Branch, or Mississippi area, or even White Haven, we have a study group here at 1495 Brookhaven, South Haven Study Group, or Muhammad Study Group, under the leadership of the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Well, brother, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, tune in tomorrow. 1600 a.m. 3 o'clock.
1600, 3 o'clock. We're going to go on. The program will begin. Of course, we will introduce ourselves, but it will begin with about a 15-20 minute monologue of what Brother Anthony has taught and what he had to say with regard to is the Nation of Islam a hate group. And after that time, we will come live to the microphones, and we invite the listening audience to call in with questions or comments, and we'll go from there.
Okay, don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
So once again, brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in to the Self-Improvement Basis for Community Development Talk Show. I'm your weekly host, Brother James Muhammad, and I'm honored once again to have you on the show. Thank you for coming, brother.
Thank you, brother.
We'll be working together and tuning in to enlighten our community.
Yeah, he's going to be on that too now. And before we go, let me also say that I won't be the only host to the show. Mm-hmm. We are desirous of having all of us who are involved in the local ministry here at Mosque number 55. Yourself, of course, Student Minister Dimitri Muhammad, Student Minister Ilya Rashad Muhammad. Those are scholars extraordinaire. Those brothers have written books. They've spent many hours in research and gathering information to rebut our detractors. Now we embrace our detractors. We embrace our critics. We use disagreement as an avenue by which to make the disagreement a teachable moment, because people simply have not heard our perspective, at least not in a radio broadcast that we control and that we sponsor. So, like I was saying, you, Brother Rashad, Student Minister Dimitri, Student Minister Rodney Muhammad as well, and of course, the Mid-South representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Whenever that man is ready to come before the public, we can make that happen, at our leisure and whenever we get ready. So, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Brothers and sisters, until next week, Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Please stay tuned tomorrow, 1600 at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. to 4
here in the Shelby County, Memphis, and surrounding area. Until next week, peace.
Peace.